Hello, it's Thursday afternoon now, and welcome to Sabah's Way of Life. So it's been another busy morning in the garden, and I just wanted to share a couple of things I'm cooking today. I've cooked this morning, earlier this morning, I prepared, you can see here, beautiful bread rolls. Now, those who've been following this channel will know that I shared a YouTube channel some days back when I had made a milk bread, and it's the same woman that makes these wonderful buns. They're slightly sweet, they're lovely and rich with olive oil and butter and eggs in them, which I love, and they're great with a cup of tea because they're homemade, and they're great with a cup of tea in the morning, warmed with butter on, or even in the afternoon. I just can't eat too much. I had made about 19 of them. It's about 700 grams of flour, and I'd taken it over to my parents' house, and they'll be gone within 3 or 4 days because people are always coming in and out of the house all day long. So that's lovely, and I'll just make another batch when needed. The other thing I wanted to share with you when cooking food, this next dish is more of a winter dish, but it's also a lovely spring dish as we migrate from spring over to summer. It's nice to nourish our body, and we are heading into a full moon, and one of the things that I've learned about the human body, remember we're majority water, and the moon has a very, very significant influence on the water. You only have to look that up to understand how the moon affects the tides, and in fact affects the woman's cycle. It affects everything. So we are part of nature. So what I do when there is a switch from cold to warm, and when we're on a waxing moon, and in a waxing moon our body is absorbing, it really pays attention to what it's absorbing rather than toxin release. So I emphasize the word try because I don't always succeed, but I try to be aware of it all the time, and I try to put nourishment into my body that will serve me during a waxing moon. So I'm going to make what we call in the Indo-Pakistani culture, this is a North Indian dish, which was a dish back in the time of the Mughal Empire, and it was a street dish for the army. In those days they were fed properly, the army, so that they could fight and win, and they were cared for, not like now. But I'm talking obviously about the Indian subcontinent, not the broken Western world. So this is called Haleem. So I'm just going to show you some of the ingredients that go in, and it's made with lentils, a different array of lentils, and meat. And the meat that's normally used is the neck part of the meat, because you've got quite a lot of fat, and which is an important part of the dish, along with the pieces of meat that are cooked for a long time, so they become tender and almost melt into the dish. Let me just turn this around. So this is my old recipe book. I mean, we're talking about 20-30 years old, with recipes from when, mum used to give me them when I was young, and I used to write them down. So you've got all these different lentils here. So over here I've got urad dal. Gosh, I don't even know what that is in English. I should know, but I've forgotten. Anyway, this is a white lentil. This is a moong dal, M-O-O-N-G, or it could be chana. I think it might be chana dal. Then you've got a masoor dal. This is the orange lentils. You've got some pearl barley. I bought some more earlier from the local Indian superstore. And then there's another dal that goes in, and then some basmati rice, which I've stored in here. And these are all cooked separately with herbs and spices. The meat is cooked separately. Traditionally, it's cooked separately. You can cook them together. The meat's cooked separately with lots of herbs and spices. And then the two are brought together to make this absolutely delicious soup of lentils and meat, cooked for a long, long time on slow cook. So I'll be preparing that probably later this afternoon, and it'll go on slow cook on the cooker, or I might put it in the slow cooker and plug it in, and it will just cook gently overnight to allow all the flavours to steep nicely and the meat to cook slowly and become nice and tender and just blend in with the lentils. My mouth is watering as I speak. So that's the food that I'm going to cook, and it's an all-round dish. You just have to eat it on its own, and you make a gorgeous fried onion and ghee. We call it a bakar. So you just fry some onions in a lot of homemade ghee, and you pour it over the top, and then you put the condiments on top, which are your garlic, pieces of ginger, green chilies, coriander leaves, and some homemade homeground garam masala on top. It is so delicious, and I will show you once I've made some. I'll try and find. You can go on YouTube and look for a recipe yourself, but I'll try and find a decent one and put it down below in the notes later. How are we doing for time? It's 6 minutes, so I want to end this in a couple of minutes, and I just want to show you what I've done in the garden over the last 2 days. So just get my boots on and let's go. It's such a beautiful day. Oh, incidentally, just look at this. Now, see, these are the things I note. I'm noting it, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon now, and I'm noting exactly where the sun is. And at midday, the sun hits the other side of the garden as well. And this is important to get a really good feel for what you can place where when you're growing your fruit and vegetables. Where does the sun hit? This is north facing my garden, so from the other side it's south facing, and I need to know which part gets the most sun, which gets the least sun, which gets semi-sun, partial shade. All these things are very important. So yesterday, I've got this beautiful tree here, I can't remember the name of it, but over here I mulched it with some more soil and garden compost, and I planted fenugreek in there because we use fenugreek in our food. Even here where these tulips are dying off, I put a lot of compost down and I planted lots of fenugreek because, again, we just use that as a herb in Indian cooking. If you go further down, oh, look at the weather. I love this. In this raised bed, I have sown a lot of seeds. Now, it doesn't mean these plants will remain here. I've sown them here so that they can germinate, and eventually I will transplant them. And what I like to do is a lot of mixed planting. Rather than have one vegetable growing in a row, I mix them in with other different vegetables, with a lot of interplanting. Look up interplanting so you know what that means, and a lot of companion planting where one helps the other. I've talked about that before. So I've got chard. This is an orange chard that would just look nice even in the flower bed. Leeks. I have sown onion seeds, shallots. Over here I've got lettuces that I've sown, spinach, and then in these pots I've got more onions because we eat a lot, lettuces, carrots, onions, more spinach, and the greenhouse is absolutely packed. It's packed. I don't know where to start. You can see here that the initial onion seeds I put in are coming up now, and even over here the tomatoes are starting to germinate. So it's packed. I've got basil, I've got parsley, I've got rocket, I've got thyme, and then I've got so many different things going on over here. I don't even know what they all are. These are nasturtiums and all the different types of flowers. So it's a packed greenhouse, packed with pots, and now I'm going to do a little bit of tidying up in the garden, housekeeping, just to have a break before I go in and start putting fruit seeds in, because it's a fruit day today and a fruit day all day tomorrow. So I'm trying to pace myself. It is very tiring. I do get tired because it's non-stop, but there's also an intense amount of fulfillment from I mean, this is real fulfillment because I love what I do. So find something that you love and you enjoy and focus on it and try to make it outdoors. The real living room of the human being is outdoors in the garden, not inside, not sedentary, and not in front of a computer. So even though you may have no choice in whatever work you do, be aware that it is not befitting a human being, this technological society, and do what you can outside of those hours to be outside and on the move all the time. And if you have a choice in life, then try to get away from that job and do something else if you can, that means that you're outdoors and in nature as much as you can. Gives you some more freedom. Have a good day.